The demolition was scheduled for the 15th. Grant Aldous had developed half the waterfront in Portland. Glass towers, boutique hotels, mixed-use developments that won awards and printed money. He had no patience for sentiment in business, and the last remaining house on Mercer Street was nothing but sentiment wrapped in peeling paint. His lawyers had handled the eviction notice. Clean, legal, generous even. They'd offered Eleanor Marsh 3 times the property's market value. She'd refused twice. The third offer wasn't really an offer. Grant visited once, as a courtesy. He told himself it was courtesy. She answered the door in a housecoat, a small woman in her mid-80s with white hair pinned neatly and eyes that missed nothing. The house smelled of cedar and old books. "Mrs. Marsh," he said, "Come on, I think it's time we settled this." "Come in then," she said, as if she'd been expecting him. He didn't intend to stay long. He stayed 40 minutes. The walls were covered in photographs, community events, church choirs, school graduations. A life measured not in assets but in attendance, in showing up for other people. "I raised 4 children here," she said, setting tea in front of him he hadn't asked for. "Buried my husband from this living room. This isn't property to me, Mr. Aldous. It's a body." He left unmoved, or told himself he did. The demolition proceeded. 3 weeks later, Grant's assistant placed a manila folder on his desk marked Archival. First loan documentation to 2001. His accountant had been auditing old records. Grant barely glanced at it. Then he saw the name. Mahu, the loan that saved him. $40,000 in 2001, when every bank had turned him away and his first development was 4 days from collapse, had come through a private community lending fund. Anonymous donor. He'd paid it back within 18 months and spent years wondering who had believed in him when no one else would. The fund's primary benefactor, listed in the archive paperwork, was an Eleanor Marsh of Mercer Street, Portland. Grant sat very still for a long time. He pulled up the demolition report. Site clearance was complete. The house was gone. He drove there anyway, stood on the empty lot in the November wind, looking at the ground where her walls had been. He found her at her daughter's apartment across town. She answered the door and looked at him without surprise. "You knew," he said, "when I came to your house." "You knew I didn't know." "Yes," she said. "Why didn't you tell me?" Eleanor considered this with the patience of someone who had long ago stopped needing the last word. "I didn't give that money to own anything, Mr. Aldous," she said. "Not even a thank you." She closed the door gently. Grant stood in the hallway for a long time, holding nothing. Some debts can't be repaid, only carried. Subscribe to Empire Untold for stories that stay with you long after you've finished reading.